There have been many contentions and debate over the concept of legacy characters over the years, with Miles Morales being the main subject around those conversations. I have thoughts on the matter. When a hero does well enough, he becomes more than what he intended. His very attributes become the stuff of myth, and the stories of his actions support that myth. In short, he becomes a legend. And legends are supposed to inspire. And when the human can't bear the mantle anymore, for whatever reason, being lack of spirit, purpose, or whatever else, and that legend is too powerful, speaks to too many people to let die and be ignored, someone else must take up the mantle. The legend must continue. Enter legacy characters. I believe a big problem with the character of Miles Morales is purely his name. It's pretty unrealistic that the people of New York know that there's two Spider-Man out there with slightly different powers, costume, and personality, and they all just collectively call them Spider-Man interchangeably without any nicknames floating about. Like, they know that these are two different characters, two different people, and they still just Spider-Man will suffice for the both of them. It's pretty creatively bankrupt too, because we have nicknames for everything. If something's a little bit different, we have to give it a different name. I'll take even comedically bad names that a random civilian just came up with on the spot and it just stuck, like Devil Spider, Brooklyn Spider, Young Weber, or even Lil Spider, like he's a rapper or something. Ever know someone by just one name who now goes by something else? After years of calling them that one name, it can be quite the adjustment, and a subtle but difficult one to just call them something else. I usually don't even bother unless they really are adamant about it. Even when I'm watching Batman Beyond, and someone calls Terry McGinnis Batman, it's still pretty jarring on the first watch. Especially with Kevin Conroy playing an elder Bruce Wayne. Sometimes I forget, and I expect someone else to show up when he says, "Oh look, Batman." And I know someone's going to bring up other characters who share the same code name, like the Green Lantern Corps. But the Green Lantern Corps are interchangeable. Except for personality, they have the same power set. Civilians usually just call them Green Lantern, and there's not much of a difference in terms of costume. Same with the Flash. Barry and Wally aren't that different. There are differences, but it isn't that dramatic. Unlike the differences between Peter and Miles. Miles has all the abilities Peter has, except with new ones, like his electrical venom blast touch and invisibility. But other than that, he's basically the same, except with a little more. So then, what should Miles Morales' codename be? Well, I have two main propositions. The first one is Stinger. Some insects have stingers, although not spiders. And he does have the whole Venom Blast electrical power set going on that leaves a sting, which may be a corny joke to some people. And the other requires more explanation. Miles started out in the 1610 Ultimate Universe. A fresh start for newcomers to jump in on without any of the old comics baggage. One with a more grounded take on superheroes, ones that inspired many of the live-action movies. And there, Spider-Man is a slightly different character. remixing and slightly tweaking the whole Spider-Man mythos just to shake things up. A place where new writers can just throw new ideas into. And they can do a lot more experimental stories there. And eventually, Peter died without it affecting the mainline continuity. And this is where Miles got his start. Is where Miles became popular. Showing up in cartoons, cosplays, he caught fire within the fan base and became popular and influential enough to come to the main 616 universe. Eventually starring in the Spider-Verse movies where he really popped off as a character. And one of the recurring themes in that movie is remixing things so they don't get stale. He does have a legacy to follow up. He is Spider-Man, but he's not Peter Parker. Might as well do his own thing. And in the movies, he has a budding romance with a Gwen Stacy of a different universe, a Spider-Woman. And his new arch-nemesis is one with extra-dimensional powers. One hopping through the multiverse just to cause Spider-Man a living hell, for personal reasons, of course. Forcing Miles to jump through other dimensions to stop him. Forcing him to step up, to level up. But if he gets a power upgrade. In the movies, he has to use a device so he can travel to another dimension. What if he didn't? What if he could dimension hop without help? What if he became the one Spider-Man with multiversal powers? What if he became Spider-Verse? Love it or hate it, I think I'm onto something here.